Designated senior advocate. I am senior in practice. By choice, I never applied for the senior gown. Mrs. Thorat, President of the Aurangabad Bar Association. Vice President, Mr. Sandipan Morapalle, Ms. Poonam Bodke Patil, Secretary Sri Krishna Chaudhary, Mr. Girashe, Government Pleader, Mr. Salunke, the Bar Council member, members of the Executive Committee of the Aurangabad Bar Association, fellow members of the Bar Junior Advocates, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to each one of you. I feel deeply emotional as I stand before you today, recollecting 35 years of my journey when I started my practice from this very court. The years have been personal and professional roller coaster, which has seen Shivaji Jadhav, a young junior advocate, entering the profession, not knowing how it shall turn out to be. It is also a moment of great pride that the warmth and the affection and the great support from the Aurangabad Bar and my friends, dear colleagues, have seen Shivaji Jadhav, a well-established advocate on record in the Supreme Court. It is my privilege to be amongst my own people. I will take few moments to share with you my experiences, initial struggle, how I started my practice, my journey from Aurangabad to Supreme Court. I remember the day 1990 when the High Court was in the old High Court building. Adalat रोडला तिथे आपलं हायकोर्ट होतं आणि माझे फ्रेंड्स धोडे साहेब, विनायक खोन, साळुंके साहेब, कदम साहेब, किशोर गाढवे, शिवाजी शेळके, आम्ही असे 10-12 जण चहा घेत होतो आणि असेच चाय पे चर्चा म्हणतात तसं असा विषय झाला की सुप्रीम कोर्टामध्ये आपलं औरंगाबाद बारचं कोणी नाही आहे. त्यावेळेस जस्टिस हाजी खानविलकर, त्यावेळेस ही वॉज द लिडिंग एवॉर इन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. बाळासाहेब पवारांचे जावाई, मराठवाड्याचे जावाई म्हणून त्यांना मॅटर्स जायचे. म्हणजे आपण पाठवू शकतो एका ॲडव्होकेटला, म्हणजे शिवाजी जाधव लग्न झालं नाही, पाठवा शिवाजी जाधवला. मग असं आमची जर्नी सुरू झाली आणि या सगळ्या बारनं मी एवढा सपोर्ट केला मला. मी पहिला ॲडव्होकेट औरंगाबाद बारचा सुप्रीम कोर्टात जाणारा आणि माझ्यानंतर माझे ज्युनियर कलिग्स, आमचे मित्र बरेच आले. व शिवाजी जाधव चांगला सेटल झाला आहे, मग आपल्याला जायला हरकत नाही. आणि एक इंटरेस्टिंग तुम्हाला इन्स्टन्स सांगतो की मी कसं सुरुवातीला माझं पहिलं घर कसं झालं. प्रवीण मंडलिक माझे मित्र, मी प्रवीणच्या घरी दिवाळीचं फराळाला गेलो. मग अशी चर्चा झाली, घरबीर झालं की नाही. म्हणलं अरे घर आत्ताच गेलो मी सुप्रीम कोर्टात, कुठलं घर आत्ताच. नाही म्हणलं बघ. मग म्हटलं एक खानविलकर साहेबांनी एक सांगितलं, एक सुप्रीम कोर्ट सोसायटी आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये काही वॅकन्सीज होणार आहेत आणि त्याच्यात म्हटलं बाबा मी साहेबांनी सांगितलं मला काही शक्य नाही, त्यावेळेस बघू आपण नंतर. म्हणजे 3.5 लाख रुपये लागणार आहेत. मग प्रवीणनं त्याच्या एका मित्राची मला गोष्ट सांगितली. त्याने त्याचं घर कसं केलं, त्याने एक कागद पेन घेतलं आणि असे औरंगाबादचे मित्र एवढे, नांदेडचे एवढे, नातेवाईक एवढे पैसे जमा करून घर घेतलं. म्हणजे तू असं का करत नाहीस. म्हटलं पण आपण काही गॅम्बलिंग करत नाही आहे, काही जुवा खेळत नाही आहे, पैसे जाई झालं तर परत करू. मग त्या प्रवीणनं क्लर्कला पाठवलं आणि बँकेत जेवढे पैसे होते तेवढे विड्रॉ करून मला 9,000 रुपये दिले. फक्त 500 रुपये त्याच्या अकाउंटला होते. अरे म्हणलं हे तर फार सिरियस झाली आता. आणि मग आता आमच्या बाबांकडे गेलो. बाबा आता मुफसिल कोर्टात वकील आणि शेतकरी, तेवढं म्हणजे मग मी काय तिथं तुला 3.5 लाख काय 3,500 देऊ शकत नाहीत. पण मी बाबांचा लाडका होतो, त्यांनी पटकन त्याचे 2 प्लॉट्स विकून मला 47,500 रुपये दिले. आणि मग त्याच्यात सगळे माझे काका, नातेवाईक, मामा, नांदेडचे 2 मित्र, औरंगाबादचे साळुंके साहेबांनी 5,000 दिले, SK कदमनी 5,000 दिले आणि ते प्रवीण मंडलिकचे, असे करून मग मुंबईला माझे सिनियर CR दळवी, त्यांना ते तारकुंडे साहेबांचे जून, त्यांना सांगितलं, त्यांनी लगेच 50,000 मला काढून दिले. आणि माझे तिथे दुसरे 1-2 मित्र असेच 10,000, 5,000, 2.5 लाख जमा झाले. मग आता हे 3.5 लाख, आता सुप्रीम कोर्टात हाऊसिंग सोसायटीमध्ये मग ते तरी अजून कमी होते. यू वोंट बिलीव्ह, जस्टिस खानविलकर साहेब त्यांनी लगेच त्यांच्या मिसेसच्या नावाचं फिक्स डिपॉझिट तोडून मला 50,000 दिले. आणि करोलबागला माझा एक ते मित्र होता, त्याने मला 50,000 तिसऱ्या भेटीत मला दिले. आणि अजून थोडे कमी पडले होते, माझ्याकडे 3 कॅवेट आले, मी ज्या खासदाराकडे होतो त्याने 25,000 दिले. आणि पहिलं म्हणजे एक्सपल्शन झालं होतं काही मेंबरचं, म्हणजे फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट बेसिसवर मी गेलो, माझा 6वा नंबर, 5-7 सिटिंग सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजेस, आणि मी सगळ्यात यंगेस्ट, आणि असं पहिलं माझं घर तिथे झालं. आणि जेव्हा मी दिल्लीला गेलो, कदम साहेबांनी मला 2 ब्रीफ दिले, खानविलकर साहेबांना दे, आणि 2,000 माझ्या खिशात होते पहिल्यांदा जेव्हा गेलो तेव्हा. खासदाराकडे आपलं सतरंजीवर झोपायचं. मग ते खानविलकर साहेब त्यांनी मला सांगितलं, इथं सुप्रीम कोर्टात 3 प्रकारचे वकील आहेत. इथे सिनियर ॲडव्होकेट आहेत, ॲडव्होकेट ऑन रेकॉर्ड आहेत, आणि जे सिनियर ॲडव्होकेटही नाहीत आणि ॲडव्होकेट ऑन रेकॉर्डही नाहीत, असे म्हणजे नॉन सिनियर, नॉन AOR. मग तुम्ही ठरवा कसं हे करायचं. त्यांनी कॉस्ट ऑफ लिव्हिंग वगैरे सांगितलं. आणि खानविलकर साहेबांनी मला त्यांच्या चेंबरमध्ये कोट गाऊन ठेवायला, आणि त्यांची जी ॲडव्होकेट ऑन रेकॉर्ड होती त्या मॅडम, त्यांच्या नावाने मला मॅटर्स फाईल करायलाही दिली. म्हणजे मी आय वॉज हिज कॉम्पिटिटर, म्हणजे ग्रेटनेस ऑफ दॅट मॅन. आणि मला हेल्प केली त्यांनी. आणि पहिलं मी जेव्हा एक मॅटर मला ड्राफ्ट करायला दिलं, 2,000 रुपये दिले त्या काळात, त्यावेळेस. आणि यू विल बी प्राऊड टू नो की गेल्या 35 वर्षामध्ये माझ्याकडे महाराष्ट्रातल्या ऑलमोस्ट प्रत्येक तालुक्याचं माझ्याकडे काम आलेलं आहे. apart from other states. And I must mention here, apart from my friends in Aurangabad, Bombay, Nagpur, 3 लोकांचा मी आवर्जून उल्लेख करेल. आता सगळ्या बार मेंबर्सशी मी आता शेअर करतोय माझे एक्सपिरियन्सेस. म्हणजे those 3 personalities have shaped my career. I must mention, I must give credit to them. One of them is my dear friend Bhushan Gawai, Justice Bhushan Gawai. Last 40 years association. We started together in 1985, Bombay. मी 4-5 वर्ष झाले होते मला प्रॅक्टिस सुरू करून सुप्रीम कोर्टामध्ये. आमचे बाबा म्हणाले, अरे तू अजून नागपूरला गेला नाहीस, तू सगळ्या, मी काय, आय यूज टू व्हिजिट ऑल द बेंचेस, ऑलवेज, ऑल वेकेशन्स. आम्हाला सुप्रीम कोर्टाला जरा जास्त सुट्ट्या असतात. म्हणलं बरं नागपूरला माझं कोणी ओळखीचं नाही, मी कसं जाऊ. मग तिथे म्हणे आमचा एक वसमचा जावाई होत, विजय वानखेडे, पण केलो तिथे. बघितलं तर भूषण तिथे प्रॅक्टिस करत होते, गवई साहेब. मग त्यांना, बट गवई साहेबांनी अख्ख्या बारला मला इंट्रोड्यूस केलं, कुठलंही मॅटर असलं, बिकॉज ही वॉज सो पॉप्युलर देअर. आणि गव्हर्नमेंट प्रिडर म्हणून सुद्धा प्रत्येक, मला अशी त्यावेळेस बरेच वर्ष एक SLP किंवा कॅवेट माझ्याकडे असायचं. असं नंबर 2 जस्टिस अजय खानविलकर. त्यांनी जे मला सुरुवातीला जी मदत केली, म्हणजे आय कांट फॉरगेट. म्हणजे असं नाही आहे की मी आमचे हे समोर बसलेले मित्र वगैरे यांनी कमी मला मदत केली, पण आय मस्ट मेन्शन दॅट की खानविलकर साहेबांनी मला एका ज्युनियर ॲडव्होकेट आला आहे मराठवाड्यातला, आणि त्यांनी खूप नंबर 3 गिरीश गोडबोले. गिरीश गोडबोले माझा काही संबंध नव्हता कधी, म्हणजे हे अजिबात ओळख नाही, काही नाही. somehow he, I think he heard about me, about my working, आणि माझे ड्राफ्ट्स, माझ्या ऑफिसचे वन ऑफ द बेस्ट ड्राफ्ट्स इन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. श्याम दिवान तिथे लिडिंग सिनियर ॲडव्होकेट आहे. ते नेहमी दुसऱ्यांना उदाहरण द्यायचे की 2 ऑफिसेसचे ड्राफ्ट सुप्रीम कोर्टात वन ऑफ द बेस्ट. एक माझ्या ऑफिसचं नाव घ्यायचे आणि एक जतीन जव्हेरी म्हणून इज नो मोर यांचे नाव घ्यायचे. आणि पहिलेपासून मी कधीही फीसच्या मागे नाही लागलो. जे काम येईल त्याला स्वतःचं समजून ऑलवेज दिस अ व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट फॉर ज्युनियर मेंबर्स की यू स्टेप इन टू शूज ऑफ द क्लायंट, यू फील द पेन. आणि असं मी काम केलं. माझ्याकडे कितीतरी असे खूप मोठे खूप लोकांना न्याय मिळवून दिला. नाशिक जिल्ह्यात माझ्या अशा सगळ्या डिस्ट्रिक्टमधून काम, खानदेश असो, विदर्भ असो, कोकण असो, पुणे, मुंबई, सगळे बिल्डर्स, पॉलिटिशियन्स, अख्ख्या गावाची जमीन MIDCच्या ॲक्विजिशनमध्ये गेली होती, सिन्नरच्या तिथली. ते शेतकरी म्हणलं काय तुम्हाला फीस द्यायची ते द्या. दिवसभर चाललं, मी आर्ग्यू केलं मॅटर. आले माझ्या घरीच थांबले ते 25-30 लोक. आणि वी सक्सिडेड इन दॅट मॅटर. एक असंच खंडकरी शेतकऱ्यांचं मॅटर होतं ते. नगर, पुणे, बारामती अशी 35,000 हेक्टर जमीन शेतकऱ्यांना मिळाली. बाळासाहेब विखे पाटील साहेबांनी माझ्याकडे ते पाठवलं. मग कमल किशोर कदम असो किंवा हे सगळे बरेचसे, आता शिवसेना पक्षाचा मी वकील होतो. एकदा बाळासाहेब ठाकरेंना वॉरंट इश्यू झालं होतं, मी स्टे मिळून दिला होता त्यांना. ते असे माझी जर्नी हे झाली. मुंबई बारनी मला खूप मदत केली आणि गिरीश गोडबोलेंनी एवढे मॅटर्स मला पाठवले, म्हणजे कल्पनाही करू शकत नाही एवढे मॅटर्स पाठवले. आधी बरेच दिवस आम्ही तर भेटलोही नव्हतो, खूप दिवसानंतर भेटलो. आणि मॅटर डिस्पोज ऑफ झाल्यावर ते स्वतः एक नोट मला बनवायची 1-2 पानाची, फॅक्ट्स आणि महत्त्वाचे पॉईंट्स, काय आर्ग्यू झालं कोर्टामध्ये हे सगळं. आता आय विल टर्न टू दी today's topic. I will be brief. I will not take much of your time. Dear colleagues, I have given my youth to this profession, my life to this profession, and in the process I have learned few things out of experience, and I share the same to you. I hope my understanding of professional ethics with respect to different areas of practice will be of use to you. In the life of a lawyer, ethics play a vital role at every single stage of advocacy. The moment a client approaches till the case is disposed of, ethics, or rather professional ethics, is deeply intertwined with our practice. And yet it is a challenge to be ethical. As your colleague at bar and having practiced for more than 4 decades, I am aware of the vast contribution made by Aurangabad bench to the legal profession. As a custodian of constitutional values, sentinel of justice, and an institution of noble traditions, the Bombay High Court, along with Aurangabad bench and the courts below it, have dealt with several kinds of disputes. To a common man, the most often image of an advocate is that we professionals are not ethical. However, to paint everyone with the same brush and to carry a blanket opinion about the lawyer, the legal profession, it is not a fair assessment of our fraternity. The Advocates Act and the Bar Council of India rules have sufficient safeguard to see that, to ensure that the minimum standards of professional ethics are followed by the advocates. But in reality, it is very challenging to strictly comply with each one of them. But most of us, out of fear, regard, and out of our own conscience, we do follow ethics in spirit, which are expected and demanded of us. Now comes what is ethics and how does it get formulated. The statutory norms, judicial reasonings and orders, and our sense of what is right and what is wrong determines the professional ethics, ethical practice. The very purpose of ethical practice is to ensure fairness to the client, to the opponent, to the court, and to the very idea of rule of law, which the institution fiercely protects. I must add, ethical practice at times is difficult, burdening, and disappointing, perhaps monetarily, but in the long run, it brings us respect, goodwill, and reputation, which is far more rewarding, and maybe in the long run, money-wise also. I must give special attention to the word reputation. It makes and breaks our professional careers. It protects practice, our name, and peace. Ultimately, in this profession, there are only two things which takes us to highest pedestal in the profession: knowledge, court craftsmanship, and the practice standards which translate into the reputation. It is said to build a reputation, years of hard work and sacrifices are required. But to destroy, even a small aberration is enough. Ultimately, it is the reputation which travels across the courts, benches, and amongst our colleagues. And let me tell you, it is not time-bound. It remains in the corridors of the court even after we leave. And in a close-knit legal community of Aurangabad, it is more precious. Dear friends, ethics is a facet of integrity. And the true test of ethics is not what is written in the textbooks or what is taught by our seniors, but it is our sense of righteousness when no one is watching you. Ethics is dharma. Ethics is what distinguishes civilized from uncivilized, truth from false, justice from injustice, moral from immoral. What is ethics, therefore, is a wisdom arising out of our honesty. I recall a lesson on ethics from something, importance of ethics, from something which I read many years ago. A tourist goes to Japan and a driver takes him to the city. It was late night and the driver stops at the red light. And the tourist, tells him there are no vehicles around. Why are you standing? So his answer is that he answered, if a child is watching us, he must learn that rules have to be followed even when no one is checking us. This lesson reminds us importance of maintaining standard behavior under all circumstances. The burden of ethics on us is greater because our community calls us learned, and it is thus expected that we deliver a conduct becoming of us as an officer of the court. We are intrinsic in the administration of justice. We must act in a manner that befits the gown and the bands we carry. The gown reflects the gods and man's rules, and the bats representing tablets of stones reflecting 10 commandments of Moses on liberty, faith, and justice. We'll talk about ethics before court. I need not say we have to be respectful and dignified before the bench. The relations of bar and bench are important for good justice delivery system. We are officer of the court, and we should never suppress any fact. We should always clearly state your facts. And it goes long way in building your face value before the court. We must also respect time of the court and the opponent. Needless to say that the time of the client and your time too. I must tell the younger members of the bar the importance of the preparation of the matter. Right from drafting, when Justice J.S. Verma became Chief Justice of India, he changed the rules regarding the drafting of the special leave petition. Question of law, grounds, and synopsis. One should draft the petition in such a way, there should be brevity, concise, only and always try to give a synopsis, 1 or 2 pages. It should not be more than 2 pages. If you write the crux of the matter, main points you want to argue, so that when the judge reads your synopsis, there should not be no need to argue the matter. Notice and say that happens. So always concentrate on preparing a synopsis of any matter, whether it is a writ petition or any appeal, one synopsis. And always, when you prepare a matter for arguments, you should have a short notes submission so that to render a good assistance to the court. Because ultimately it is the assistance which they get from the bar. It reflects in the judgment. Now you must not hide any judgment which is against you also. You must tell the court honestly that this judgment is against me. Because in the long run, while building a face value before a court, that helps. Ethics with clients. We must give honest advice to the client. Always. If the client has no case, you know that the matter will be dismissed, we should not take up such matter. You tell them that you have 0 chance, even then he insists, then you can take, then you file, it doesn't matter. But you must tell honestly that you have no case. Because we have seen in the Supreme Court, frivolous matters you file, Supreme Court imposes cost. Here too, I think, I remember when I was the president of the AOR Welfare Trust, when the Harish Salve is chairman, I am managing trustee. We started this in 2013. We have 6.5 crores corpus trust fund. I used to go to every judge of the Supreme Court and give them the trust deed. This we need whenever you impose any cost. Not that for us you impose cost, that give that money to our trust so that we can give some benefit to our members of the bar. In 2013, I was standing in front of court number 1. I was president. I told Harish, we'll have a close association of last 35 years. Since 1991, I started briefing him. His fees was only 2,500. So he immediately, in 5 minutes, gave 1 crore to our trust. Told his accountant in 2013. And we gave medical insurance to advocates and the clerks. We included clerks because they are the one they need the insurance, medical insurance. Justice Bobde and Justice Nageshwara, one matter came up before them. So that it was a matter, according to judges, it should not have been filed. Some medical college, they imposed a cost of 2 crores and gave that money to our trust. Nothing, Mukul Rohatgi was appearing because I had closed this thing with Justice Bobde also, Justice Bobde, Gavai Sahab, and one Kaptan, they had come to the Supreme Court for one important matter. I was their advocate on record. And many Chief Justices, judges, they impose costs. That's how we collected that much money. And from the senior advocates, 25 lakhs, and we also contributed. Be thoughtful, compassionate, and patient with client. Loyalty with clients. Clients-advocate relationship is fiduciary in nature. We must maintain the secrecy and the transparency. Aurangabad Bar is known for healthy relations amongst the bar members, but that is always outside the court. Our loyalty is to the brief. Respect to colleagues is must. Aurangabad, since my days, have not changed. Even after all these years, the bar of Aurangabad, its values, scholarship, and service remains one of the finest in the country. The bar has contributed eminent judges and the lawyers. They have built their reputation on hard work, humility, and integrity. Shortcuts are never virtue. Young lawyers must inherit this tradition. I will give examples of my friend Mr. Prabhakaran. He was an employee of a company. He was fighting his own case, and he had no legal background. He gave up. I think he was some problem with his company. So before he became lawyer, he was filing petitions on behalf of employees and all. And today he's a well-established lawyer in the labor practice. He had no background, sheer hard work. And Justice Khanvilkar also. His father, along with his 5 sisters, they used to live in Mulund, a small one room. He studied in municipal schools and went on to become Supreme Court judge. I had fortune of briefing all the topmost senior lawyers in the Supreme Court in last 35 years. Name anyone from Fali Nariman, Salve, K. Parasaran, Chidambaram, Gopal Subramaniam, Venu Gopal, everyone. I briefed Fali Nariman in so many matters. Once see their devotion and the dedication to the profession, Mr. Nariman called me at 5 o'clock in the morning. Shivaji, I think we should do this thing. File an application 5 o'clock in the morning. These lawyers who have become leading members of the bar, gone to achieve topmost position in the bar by hard work, honesty, integrity. I know Bhimrao Naik, Ajit Shah, Salve, to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. For the mentoring is not a charity, but rather responsibility as senior members of the bar. We must take care of our juniors. They are our legacy. We advocates must create an environment for meaningful guidance and empowerment. Meaningful guidance can change destinies of junior advocates. At this juncture, I want to give few tips to the younger members of the bar. All those senior advocates who have become the stalwarts, doyens of the bar, all of them had joined some chamber of a senior. It is very important for an advocate initially to practice few years with a senior. Under his guidance only you can thrive. Although nowadays, now this 5 years course and National Law School, they are so well trained. It's very heartening to know with moot court and the internships. If you have chosen law practice as a career, you must attend the court regularly. Not only court, but the courtrooms, and keep your mind alert and receptive. Justice R.S. Bachawat used to tell the advocates, you must tell your arguments in capsule form. And Motilal Setalwad, first Attorney General for India, and the best Attorney General for India, he was the soul of brevity. When your senior tells you to seek an adjournment in a matter, never go to the court without preparation. Because the judges tend to ask you, tell us what is the matter about. If the senior is on his legs in another court, grab that opportunity. You never know, you might get a breakthrough, some important matter. I recollect the top seniors like Tarkunde, Nariman, all seniors. Top seniors, never seen them in the bar lounge or gossiping or in the canteen. Justice Tarukunde, always in the library, judges library, by taking special permission, Fali Nariman, always in the judges library. And even if their matter is at the bottom, item 50, 60, but they would go and sit in the court and watch the judge carefully, how the cases are decided in a particular fact situation. And that's how you develop an art, what not to say and when not to speak. It's very, very important. I have seen many lawyers unnecessarily getting up and interrupting the proceedings. In the Supreme Court also, when you appear on caveat, you just sit quietly. If the court is inclined to issue notice, then only say, I always sit there, always keeping one chair vacant. And even during the course of arguments also, if the judge is in your favor, why should you interpret? In the profession, waiting period is long. First 5-10 years, never expect. Don't consider anything about that you will get money. Just, even if you get enough to survive in the profession, that is enough. Therefore, waiting period is more as compared to other professions. So be prepared and always be prepared. Always get familiar with the latest case law, High Court, Supreme Court, and very good drafting. If your senior finds you useful, if you do good research, your drafting is good, he will keep you not out of charity, but out of need. That without you, your senior should feel handicapped. There is a cutthroat competition in our profession. Too many lawyers. So the rich rewards are never at the beginning of your career and are only found near the top rung of the ladder, never at the bottom rung. Earn your way to the top by being proficient and useful. Many advocates coming from Marathwada area, they have a language barrier. You must, although English is a foreign language for us, but we can't deny that we must have a command over English language for our profession. The seniors, when a new judge is appointed, they first study his background. Like many judges, we see pro-landlord, pro-tenant, in matrimonial matters also like that. Otherwise, how to please a judge. So they'll sit and watch judge carefully. Full concentration, as if their own matter. Justice J.M. Chelat, you should be very careful in addressing the court. He was City Civil Court judge, later High Court and then Supreme Court. And whenever the advocate used to address him, Your Honor, because there is a practice if you are practicing in the City Civil Court, you say Your Honor. He was very allergic to that word, Your Honor, because in the High Court, we had to say, My Lord. So many lawyers suffered dismissal of their matters only because you addressed wrongly to the judge. To be a successful lawyer, you must have a good, watchful eyes, and above all, good ears. Another important thing I must tell you, that all the lawyers should remember this, that don't be boring. Once you argue a case and you make your point, and if the judge understands, then leave it at that. Some advocates have a tendency to repeat the arguments. If a judge is polite, he will only look at the window or outside, then that means here you have bored him. In Fali Nariman's office, there is one portrait of American court hanging, where the judge, apparently bored with the arguments of the counsel, has gone to sleep. The counsel arguing leans forward and tells the court clerk, Charlie, please wake him up. And the answer that Charlie gives to the advocate cheekily responds, You wake him up since you put him to sleep in the first place. So far as professional ethics for self is concerned, there has to be a fees, transparency, must be honest, guilt-free, and upfront in quotations. I remember I just worked for 5-6 months with Justice Khanwilkar. But I tell you the influence of the senior. Khandare Saab, Saunke Saab, many that time who used to brief Khanwilkar, they will remember. माशी जरी शिंकली तरी खानविलकरांचं पत्र यायचं काय झालं मॅटरमध्ये. Because the advocate who is referred a matter to you, like district court lawyer refers a matter to you, you must respond immediately without he calling. Because always I have kept that practice. I have never given any scope to the briefing advocate that you have not filed the matter, you have not communicated. That habit I also followed every time. So far as fees is concerned, you won't believe Justice Khanwilkar in many matters, After the disposal of the matter, he would settle the accounts, and whatever if the fees is excess, he would refund the fees to the client. Have you heard of any advocate refunding fees to the client? We should always discourage this contingent and conditional fees. I have never done that, whatever may be the stakes in the matter. There was one matter, huge gold, the matter was dismissed by the Supreme Court. Justice Dattu's bench. Because what happened, there was an issue of legal heirs. Another Supreme Court judge was appointed to decide who is the legal heir, and in which he gave 70 pages judgment. And this Justice Dattu's bench, they thought that this appeal is disposed of. There's a long judgment. So he dismissed the appeal. Although it was only the question of legal heirs, they came to me, huge pile of papers, and I put life in that matter. I got it revived, recalled, and ultimately my client succeeded. There are almost 40-50 crores worth gold. So I never charge any fees depending on the stakes involved in the matter. I forgot to mention you also while giving honest advice. I have not filed any review petitions in the Supreme Court during my practice, except for few where I felt this is a genuine case for a review of the order. Always, because there is no argument. It's always by circulation. But this routinely advocates file review petitions, then curative petitions. I always tell my client, there is a zero chance of succeed. Don't waste your time, don't waste your money. Always improve your skills by reading material. I remember Justice Venkatachalaya used to say, every day you must read 10 pages of non-legal literature, non-legal material, and 10 pages of legal. Every day you should make a habit. Now it is online, it is available, all Supreme Court judgments, important latest judgments. Actually, honestly speaking, the law was decided after the Constitution was inaugurated at the Supreme Court after 10 years, 15 years. But now what happens is this number of judgments on one issue, there is a lot of confusion. Which judgments to follow? Justice Ahmadi used to say, Chief Justice Ahmadi was Chief Justice for 3 years, God help those who help themselves. Physical and mental fitness will ensure efficiency, and only efficient lawyer will be able to practice ethics properly. Deep within I'll just finish in 5 minutes. I hope I have not bored you. Deep within, dear friends, we all know that ethics is best measured when practiced. All conversations, talks, deliberations have no meaning if it is not practiced. One of the best books on ethics is Mahabharata. It teaches us about moral dilemmas. It is the same conflict of what is right and what is wrong, which Lord Ram faced. It is the same question of ethics which the Holy Gita, Holy Quran, and the Holy Bible say. The message is loud and clear and universal. Every single day of our life, we must be fair and better, to be rational, moral, ethical, and forgiving, and to be able to honor words. And in my humble opinion, that I have learned integrity. Law gives us recognition, but the ethics gives us respect. Success and failure are short-lived, but the way we conduct ourselves is what defines us. Professional ethics is choices we make as a persons. In Aurangabad, with vast and segmented population, as advocates, we are not merely defending a case, but rather the truth, faith, and fairness of the system. In the words of Gandhiji's, I quote, "Recall the face of the poorest and the weakest man, and ask yourself, if the step you contemplate is going to be of any use to him, if the action helps them regain control of their life and destiny, it is likely the right path," unquote. My friends, in Aurangabad, we witness farmers' difficulties, land acquisition matters, domestic violence, somebody facing death sentence, jail sentence, termination. Weaker section of the society, they require a lawyer, and we are their voice. And I have done many matters, even if the fees are not given to me. When I receive a papers, I will do the matter. I do legal aid matters also, pro bono also. It is a sacred responsibility, and anything sacred is always ethical. And that decide our legacy. And people remember how you behave. And that is the ultimate truth. In the words of Michael Jackson in his speech in 2001, before Oxford University, 2001, quote, "If you enter this world knowing you are loved, and if you leave this world knowing the same, anything that happens in between, that can be dealt with," unquote. So let us reaffirm the path of justice and fairness by being ethical in conduct. This is the best act as a human being and as a citizen of our great nation. When you retire, people will not remember how many cases you argued, how much money you have made, how many times you were cited, but they will remember your dignity, your compassion, and your honesty. This is the true legacy. Let us reaffirm, we'll be honest with clients, we'll be fair to the opponent, we'll be respectful to the court, and we'll be kind to juniors, and we'll be faithful to the Constitution. Friends, the bar is a great place. Enjoy every moment of it, and may God be with all of you in your endurance. I thank President Madam, Vice President, Secretary, all the members of the Executive Committee, and all my dear colleagues, members, for patiently listening to my talk. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.